form of work, there's some form of training. Typically, this is done by a mentor or an instructor. But what do you do when there's neither a trainer nor a budget? Training then becomes a matter of legality, from read and signs to death by PowerPoint. On-the-job training is meant to bridge the knowledge gaps left from technical schools. When on-the-job training is left up to a PowerPoint slide, is it really about the training or sending a message? Today, we have two guests this time. Both of these wonderful ladies are just fresh off of their aircraft maintenance training. They're relatively new to the field, and we are happy to have them along with us. Please welcome Cookies and Cream.
Welcome. Cookies and Cream in the house. In his house.
Yep. Right. Thank you, ladies, for coming, for being on the show and gracing us with your presence. We're going to have a good time today. So
good time every day. Come on.
All the time.
That's true. Fun 24/7.
You right. Okay. So let's go a little bit about yourselves. Cookies, let's start with you. Where are you from, and how'd you get about to
the aviation field?
All right. Well, I just heard this term be used, a couple days ago. So I'm from the armpit of California. So, not super south or whatever.
Is that what it's referred to as?
Yeah, somebody just told me it was the armpit of California. So
I guess at least we're not Fresnalgus.
Yeah, that's true. Anything but Fresno, right?
That's true, yeah.
So armpit of California, what else you said?
So I got started in aviation probably when I was like 18, because I had a friend that worked in a contractor tool crib in a different aerospace company. So I got that job, and then that was enough to fill my resume to get another position with the company that I'm currently at.
All right.
Okay, so at 18? Dang, so right out of high school then, huh?
Yep.
So how many years have you been into it now then?
Counting back then, it's about 7 years almost.
Oh, dang. Right on.
6 years?
I know of at least 3 of it. So yeah. I didn't realize it was before that. So that's cool.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had a really big gap in between. I worked at a retailer, so it wasn't very consecutive, but I've been at the company for 5 years now. So.
All right.
Oh, dang. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
All right. Cream, you're up. Tell us
Cream.
about you. Right, with the accent, crying.
Yeah, you got to do the ethnicity part.
Okay. All right. So where are you from? What are you about?
I am from, probably a lot of people don't know, it's called Victorville area in the high desert. Yeah. No, they actually call it, it's more known as Victimville, but
yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Victimville. Yeah.
So yeah, I started my aviation career about almost 4 years ago now. Kind of have a totally different background. I had a career in criminal justice. Did that for a few years, decided to change my career path. Kind of started from the bottom, worked security for a little while, went to housekeeping, and then tool crib, where I met Cookies, and yeah.
And then we're Cookies and Cream forever.
Yeah, so from criminology to aerospace, what made you decide to jump that bridge or that gap?
It was probably just family life. There's not much of a family life you can have with working corrections. Kind of takes all your time.
Sure.
So I decided to do a different career path. Didn't know what I really wanted to do, and figured that out after working, in the aviation industry. Got to talk to a few mechanics and things like that, and one thing led to another. And now I'm starting my career in avionics. So loving it.
And that's kind of how she learned about it and got into it. Cream, did you have a friend or family member that sort of, had given you that little bit of experience that I'll try that out, or just completely went shot in the dark blind?
Yeah, pretty much shot in the dark blind. I worked as security, and that's kind of I landed a security job in aviation. And the more I got to talk to people, I was like, this is like seems pretty cool what you do. And one thing led to another. They helped me sign up for school, and yeah.
And then you realize how uncool it can be.
I realized how wow.
Like, what have I done?
Someone lied.
This is not what I intended.
Everyone feels that way in this industry at some point. Like, I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I've upset somebody somewhere.
No way I've done that too. I look at my hands like, why?
Oh, I know. Oh no, the hands.
So since you brought it up, I'd imagine you ladies are very hygienic and very well kept. So how did that shock you when you ended up coming home and your hands looked like you just put it through a bear trap?
Yeah, you smelling like fuel, smelling like just sweat, whatever else, just all the nastiness that comes with the job.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I'm just like, wow, like this just really happened. Like, you really, yeah.
So you both have kids. You ever come home and they just say, "Oh, mom, you're gross."
I haven't had that. No.
Oh,
No,
just
my kids
just me then, huh?
I mean, they don't call you Man Bear Pig for nothing, huh?
Well, that's true. We got to live up to the name.
Well, plus it's probably because their kids they're not brave enough like they would be for dad. It's like, no one gives a shit what dad says, but mom, stay away from mom. No,
say mom will whoop that ass.
No,
For real.
Dad will whoop that ass too. He's just going to be gross when he does it.
So when you guys, what your backgrounds before, Cookies, you said you did retail. Cream, you said you were in corrections. What was that transition like to go from your previous experience over to the aviation side? Like, what was that like when you're stepping to something completely new, completely different? What was that transition like for you guys?
Okay, so I mean, I think at the time I didn't want a full-time job, but when I got this interview and they sent me the address, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go die today because it's in the middle of nowhere. But when I got there and I interviewed, everything seemed pretty easy, like very transaction oriented. So retailing and tool cribbing, they were very similar, just different product. And then, scanning and stuff. It's all pretty similar to me, at least. It was easy transition there, but learning all the new equipment, that was hard. That was like, what are you talking about? Somebody come in and ask me for this tool. I'd be like, what? What can you show me? Can you tell me what it is? Can you tell me what it looks like? Or can you go grab it? That's pretty much how it went for the most part.
What does it look like and what does it do?
I can imagine it would be pretty difficult not knowing any acronyms or verbiage in the aviation realm, because as you guys now know, it's all acronyms and verbiage, and so I bet that took some time to learn.
It did.
And then did you just learn it? Did you study it on the side, or you just learned it just from OJT, just from interacting with people and just being around it day in and day out?
I learned it from the interactions, but just recently in the avionics position, I learned that there's a whole page for acronyms where we work. And I was like, excuse you, where were you when I started?
Yeah, why wasn't this handed out in the onboarding paperwork?
Yeah, why didn't anybody tell me? Yeah.
Crime, what about you? Like going from security /
Did you just call her crime?
I
guess it kind of fits from the background, but I just heard crime.
He was like,
I'm thinking about prison. I'm thinking about corrections at prison. That's what it is.
That's hysterical.
Y'all stupid. All right, sorry about that. Cream, going from security and corrections, what was that transition like for you to go from It's
definitely two different worlds. Well, I had a lot of confidence coming from the corrections. You had to just stand your ground. So when I went to the aviation industry, I didn't know a thing. Like, I just knew they fly and they land, and that's it.
So I know. So from what I know of corrections, and it's very little. I'm sure your training consisted of conflict, de-escalation, restraining, hand-to-hand, firearm safety and training and all that kind of stuff. So from the position was definitely more aggressive.
Yeah, it took me a little while to get out of it, looking over your shoulders and like, oh, you're in there, you're like, everyone's there to get me. So it was definitely a weird transition to go to something definitely a lot more relaxed, but I'm used to working in the teams. You have to work with corrections. You have to, rely on your significant, like your coworker and stuff like that. So yeah, like I said, when I went over there, I didn't know anything. Cookies was, great. Well, Cookies was great with helping me. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I wasn't shy, so I was never afraid to ask for anything. But I was just definitely shocked. Like, wow, I didn't even know really what like a wrench was, like how to use one.
Oh yeah, story of my life. How do you use this thing?
Like, wait, what size? How do you do this? But yeah, it was definitely a lot different. Like I said, acronyms were definitely the hardest part. Like, or they would ask for things. I'd be like, look, I don't know. You have to come back here and help us out. But Cookies helped a lot. But it was definitely a hard transition. Getting used to it now, learning. Still, I still feel sometimes pretty lost. But like I say, in aviation, you feel like you just never know it all.
Do you still find yourself using those conflict resolution, de-escalation skills in your current position? Because I can imagine you would. Because otherwise, as I've told you before, I'm afraid of you. So, I mean, do you have to use those skills to keep yourself from snapping somebody's neck on a daily?
Definitely helps with in the aviation industry. There's definitely a lot of different type of characters. And I've learned how to deal with, different personalities and things like that. So that's definitely helped a lot. Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's good.
So Cookies, you mentioned about discovering the acronyms mastered list. Mm-hmm. Did that just like, where was this all my life? And just knowing like the publications in general, when you guys started your training in either the tool room, tool crib area to avionics, was there any kind of like on the job training, like this is what these are, this is what that is, and then this is how you will apply them? Were there any such things like that?
In the avionics world, yeah, when we transitioned into there, they were like, this is how this is used. And there was a little bit more show and tell about how it works and everything. But tool crib was, this is what you do. You grab the tool, you scan it out, you give it to them, you ask for it back at the end of the day, and don't lose anything. Don't break anything. Make sure nobody else breaks anything. That is, yeah, it was a lot of that in tool crib. So
it's just kind of a lot of thrown to the wolves in that aspect. But in the current position, it's been more take you by the hand and kind of explain things, show you around. Here's where things are located. Here's where you can find things. Here's the database where you can look up certain revisions of software and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. That's all available now as long as you know how to find it.
Yeah, which is not something they show you when you first get hired.
No. I don't think they do that for anybody, to be honest with you. I think a lot of it's trial and error and just asking questions along the way. At least has been my experience.
Yeah, I can attest to that as well. Like when I got to my first aviation unit, they just gave me a syllabus. Like, here's all the stuff that you need to know. And they handed it to me and they said, you have 6 months to complete this. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
And did you actually get it completed though?
Oh, you had to.
I guess otherwise, in the military
otherwise
side.
they turn you into a broom sweeper and sweeping for mines, as they say.
Sweeping the desert.
Like, yes, mopping up the rain. As it's raining. So like when I got it, they're just like, here's the stuff you got to do here, and you have this much time to finish it. And I'm like, I have no idea where any of this is. What does this mean? And I was like, oh, by the way, here's a bunch of printed out PowerPoint slides for you to read. I'm like, okay. I don't understand, but okay.
Yeah, death by PowerPoint. Yep. I don't know what I'm reading, but it says I'm certified at the end of it, so I guess.
As long as I pass the test. As long as
That's
I pass
right.
the test.
As long as you pass the test.
And you get retries, so don't forget that part.
Or some of them won't even let you click on the wrong answer. You can just click around to the right one. So you click on the right one. It's like, that's correct. And you're like, oh, all right.
They have
That's
those?
great. I wish I knew.
I just did one like that the other day. I was like, oh, I can't even. I was like, because I thought I was clicking on like the computer had frozen up. I was like, why won't it let me? And then I clicked on some other ones, and when I clicked on the right one, it said that's correct. I was like, it's idiot proof. Okay, and I'm an idiot because I was trying to click on the wrong one.
We have a 100% pass rate.
I wonder why. Yeah, can't even move on to the next question. So I know you guys have gotten into the avionics program where you're in under a state-run program. And that sends you to school, college, if you will, or like is it a vocational?
It's college.
It's college. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So well, and to get into that, you had to have tested and passed to be accepted to go into that program. So that's a big feat on its own, passing that initial test on something you had literally no experience or knowledge about. Other than just a general and talking with people swinging by the tool crib.
Well,
but you get what I'm saying, though?
Oh, funny story is we didn't have to test on avionics things at all.
Yeah.
Oh, no? Interesting.
I would imagine.
That's what I said. I was like, man, that's pretty impressive in itself, not just having a general study guide and trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So
no, it was more of like a math and reading, like math and English type of test.
Sort of like a comprehension. Can you read this and extract certain data from out of it?
Exactly.
Yeah. They just want to make sure you can like understand stuff because the classes that we take are a little intense.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So you passed. Oh, sorry, Cookies. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's funny because me and Cream actually scheduled our test for the same day, and we sat next to each other, and we like literally hand in hand did all of this stuff. And at first we didn't know what we were going to test on. And then they were like, oh, it's just math and reading. And I was like, are you serious? And everybody had scared us. And everybody was like, so many people take this test and less than 10% of them pass it. And I'm like, holy crap. Like, how hard is this test? Like, what am I taking?
And then people were coming up to us with like electronic books and things like that. And we're like, oh my gosh, what did we get into?
Yeah, that's so true. I remember somebody let me borrow a digital fundamentals book. And I was like, what in the world? This thing was fat too. It was like a big little textbook. And I was like, And I think I opened it, looked at it, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to just take my chances.
I'm just going to try it out. I can tell you, for me, the word math alone is enough to scare me because that is my worst subject. I'm still one of those people that are like, yeah, what's 5 + 5? And I'm like subtly like off to the side with my fingers. Like, oh, 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? It's my worst subject. And I like even dealing with the kids in their school and math now. And like my niece will come to me with like algebra questions and I panic.
I don't blame you.
And I pull up YouTube. All right, let's figure this out together. We're both going to learn today.
So when they get the C or the B, you're like, woo,
we passed it. Yay.
I still got it.
I get more excited over the passing grade than she does.
You're like, I can do 5th grade math.
Woohoo.
Are you smarter than the 5th graders?
Let's go win some money.
Let's do it. So I had a similar test like you ladies were talking about where you studied so hard and they really amped it up like less than 10% pass and this, that, and the other. So the test I took was called the SIFT. It's a Army pilot test. And they said like, oh man, we set like 100 dudes up there, like only one dude passed and whatnot. Like, holy shit, how hard is this test? And then you go look around for study guides and there's none. There's no study guide whatsoever for this test. Well, any real study guide is just like general math, a couple aviation terms like, I don't know what I'm going into. I go to take the test and the first thing that pops up is match the image to the screen. And you get like 2 seconds to do it. Like, that's all. It's like one of those tests you get on Facebook, the little Quizlet, like pick your personality.
What type of bread am I? I don't know. Let's figure it out. Sourdough. All right.
baguettes. Hell yeah.
Baguettes. A little hard, but still good.
Yeah, it's hard on the outside, but it's all soft and squishy on the inside.
Yeah.
Well, then I would definitely be a concha, sweet on the outside and soft in the middle.
Oh no!
All frosted and powdery on the outside
Right.
too.
I'm pretty to look at and better to eat. Hey.
Don't mind that layer of sugar. It's cool.
He's like,
So like that test I took, I'm like, well, after I'm done with it, I'm like, why? Like, I understand why they asked those questions, but it was just one of those like, you guys gotta be making shit up. Like, how is this
Relevant?
so hard? And how is this relevant? Like, why do I need to match images to a screen? Like, here's the image, pick it. Okay.
Was it a colorblind test?
No, it was. So what it was is like, it's like figure recognition, right? So like, I'm assuming the reason for this is when you're up in the air at 5 to 10,000 feet, you got to be able to pick out features on the terrain based on what you know on the map. So like, okay, this is what a mountain should look like. Yep, there it is. Or here's what this building should look like. Yep, there it is. Or whatever the hell.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I understand, but it was like, wow, this is too much. You're gonna learn all this shit anyway. So what's
So I guess I did a test on recognition and stuff like that too when I was working corporate jets and I had to get taxi qualified. I had to go through a certain test where you had to memorize where certain buttons and things were located in the cockpit from both left and right seat. So you had to know where your kill switches were at. You had to know where lights were at. You had to know where fuel, turning on your pumps, all that kind of stuff. Everything you would need for and your hydraulics and all that kind of stuff. Everything you would need to know while taxiing that aircraft around. So I guess it could be one of those things too. Recognize where things are located and be able to get to those switches in a timely manner should you run into issues. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Throw that maybe for like security,
So a little bit about PowerPoints, right? I mean, almost every single one of us can admit that we don't read them.
If I read it once, nope, I'm not reading it again. I already know.
If it's up to us, we probably wouldn't read. We'd just like blast through it and like take the test at the end, So a coworker and I used to do this where we would hide certain things in the PowerPoint slide. Like, if you're reading this, you get $5. Or if you're reading this, I owe you lunch or something like that, right? So we would just sit there and wait, like, okay, someone's going to come in here and say, hey, where's my $5? Or someone's going to come in here and say, hey, where's my free lunch? We probably went through like almost 3 months and not a single person has picked up on that $5 of the free lunch.
Dang.
And then so that's when we go like, and then we look at I've read the PowerPoint and I sign my name.
Acknowledge and read.
yeah.
So acknowledge and read. So we look at the acknowledge and read roster. It says everybody and their mother signed it. I'm like, so we go, how is it all of you said you read and signed and acknowledged and signed this paper, but not a single one of you came to me for $5 or a free lunch? I'm like, what?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Like, where did that say that?
but in part you're happy, right? Because how much $5 and how many lunches would you be out of? Like that could have been a couple $100, a little bit more than a couple $100.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy about that point because my wallet is straight.
Yeah.
but then you go next like this PowerPoint was pretty important and not a single one of you read it. So
everybody who read and signed went out and dicked up the exact thing that the PowerPoint told you not to dick up. You know what I mean? So I guess good for the wallet, bad for
work. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys had after the initial test, you had classroom training. What was your classroom training like? What did it consist of? What did you find the most interesting? What was the most tedious once you got out of the classroom? What did you learn there that helped you the most outside of it? And what were the shortcomings? Cookies, you can start with you.
Okay, so it's actually split up. And the first 3 months was 3 college classes. And the 2 other college classes were later on.
And what were those college classes?
They were DC, AC, and digital fundamentals. And these are like a full semester worth of classes in 16 days. So
Holy cow.
Yeah, we
So
did.
every single day was like 1 week.
1 week of work is crammed into one day. Yeah.
That
Seems
seems
so inefficient.
inefficient, yeah, and ineffective. I mean, depending on who the person is, you guys are smart, so I'm sure you picked up on it quick, but that just seems
It was stressful.
overly it seems
It was
overly
very stressful, yeah.
it seems overly expedited, yeah.
I know, so you just kind of trying to just like, okay, let me just understand this for the test, and then like let me dump it, and then let me get the other thing, and let me dump
Yeah.
it.
True.
Right, so you're not retaining, you're only learning for the test, and you're not I mean, not saying you're not retaining, but the chances of retention are pretty low.
I was gonna say, don't say that, okay? Because we still need to have that image that we know everything that we just
No,
took.
we
Okay.
do. I'm just saying.
But it's in all reality though, it's I mean, let's face it, anybody with a brain can understand that's. I mean, I've done it. One of my college courses, it was the same way. I mean, you do it for the week, and then you're like, all right, on to the next thing next week, and you're writing a whole new term paper for something else, and just kind of.
I mean, I retained like the fundamentals part of the classes, but I mean, if you were to give me an AC question and have me do it now, I'd be like, let me look at my notes.
Yeah, don't ask me for any formulas. Yeah, exactly.
Shoreline. Google some stuff real quick. That we
No,
can
don't you start. I'm not playing with this today.
It's like convert ohms into VAC or some shit like that. You're like, no,
Jesus.
no. Or what amps in relation to voltage. Oh no.
God.
Okay, so in those classes, what did you guys find most interesting or useful or valuable, I guess?
The AC/DC and digital fundamentals were kind of like a good basis to understand our job.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because you kind of know amps over time kind of thing, and it's temperature. It can show temperature, but it's not a heat. It's just amps over time. It's like one thing I could think of that I've related to at work.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Or like when we have to troubleshoot, that's definitely helped a lot. Like, knowing what resistance is, how to check resistance, how to interpret the numbers, how to check continuity, what it means, things like that. I think that definitely helped to understand like what we're doing and what it means.
Yeah.
So with the troubleshooting aspect, right? You guys have had to learn how to read wiring diagrams. Was that part of those courses? Is that something you still have to do some official training on, or is that one of the initial things you've learned?
I don't know about wiring diagrams. I know that we use things like O-scopes, an oscilloscope where you go into a line and you actually look at it on that level.
But what also helped too was like understanding like what each sign means on the wiring diagram. Definitely helped,
Yeah.
Understand that point.
The symbols. Yep.
Yeah. Because before it'd be like, what is the squiggly line?
Yeah.
Okay, so those have been the most. That was the most helpful items. Where do you think possibly the schooling, or at least the classroom setting schooling, kind of fell short, if any fell short?
Personally, I think it's just because the classes are small, and I think there's 8 to begin with. My class had 9 people, but we had like a person that was already part of the company come and take the class with us. So there was 9 of us, but we all had different learning levels, and some of us learned different ways. Some of us struggled in different parts. So having a teacher try to teach all of us at the same time in a fast-paced environment, like it was hard to kind of get us all to get on the same page, because we didn't know fully what he was teaching, but then, so I knew one part, this guy knew one part, that person knew the other part, and we'd have to figure out how to come together and explain it to each other, because if that guy didn't know, I want him to know, but I don't know how to get him to know because I'm not a teacher. And you kind of just try to figure it out on the way, and you get there, but it was rough. It was definitely rough.
So the instructor can definitely make or break your training session. I mean, I've had some instructors in the past where they are literally just Ben Stein, right? They're just monotone reading from a script, but they don't know how to relay information to people. They're essentially robots, right? They just repeat information, and that's all they do. And if you have questions, sucks to be you. Yeah. You have to figure it out on your own. So having an instructor who can identify your strengths and weaknesses and their strengths and weaknesses, and adapt to those. And then, but you seems, and it helps a lot, but you guys have also come together in that teamwork and realized that, okay, I understand this, but not this. So let me teach you that and you teach me this. And then you just press on.
And you would think that would fall on the instructor himself. We went on a previous episode where we talked about how we always have some instructors who are just hands off. Like they'll show up because they're there. They'll give you the material and just let you be it on your own. And I'm like, well, how do I do this? Like, well, did you look at the book? Like, yeah, but I don't understand what that means.
It's like a teacher with tenure. Remember in high school, you had some teachers that were fantastic and you had other ones that would literally show up and they would say, what you have to do today is on the board. And beyond that, they just sat at their desk and like read a magazine and drank a cup of coffee. Do you ever have those teachers?
Oh, yeah.
Because they know they can't be fired. They got their tenure in. So they just do the bare minimum. The absolute minimum is them showing up every day.
They're more like a teacher's assistant than the actual teacher, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
See, so I think in part of our classes, there was a few of us that would read the book to teach ourselves because we couldn't really keep up with the teacher as far as the way that he was teaching us. And our teacher was great. Like, he was nice. He was really nice guy and he did know a lot. But when he like tried to pass it off to us, it was like, I think it was two of them that would kind of get mixed up and they would write something on the board incorrectly, or they would be meaning to teach this, but they were kind of teaching us something else. So we were kind of lost. So
yeah, it's like when your instructor gets lost and they're like, you're lost. I'm lost. Like,
I'm lost. Yeah. So I'm just
you
going to go to the book.
Yeah. A bunch of lieutenants on the golf course were lost.
They've been talking for an hour and then they go, what were we talking about again? They look at you as the student going, what were we discussing? And you're like, I'm still
on bullet one, friend.
You had said something about ohms and you just finished talking about your Hemi.
Yeah.
Your Dodge Hemi. I don't understand.
Wait a minute. We were supposed to be following you along on the book?
No, and that's the other thing. Some of them didn't follow a book. You know, they had their own curriculum and maybe they had the book there for reference. Sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. And I was just like, okay, where do I find this? Where can I see this?
Or it'd be funny when you're like, hey, so the book says this, and they're like, no, the book is wrong, and we're like,
yeah, the book is wrong. Oh my God, the book is wrong. That one's great.
Yeah.
Here we go with the book.
Oh, no.
There it is. That's the one.
That ties into so many other episodes.
Yeah, was it the tech pubs?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody does listen. All right.
I do listen. I told you.
Hey,
I know, but it's just nice to hear it.
Yeah, we so nice. Thank you so much, Cookies. Thank you so much. We're gonna get you a glass of milk because
yes,
man, wow, awesome, fantastic. And what you guys were saying about the instructor, and then saying the book is wrong, or I'm right, the book is wrong, and then he starts making his own curriculum. And then when you actually get to the field or to the floor, and we're like, and then none of this relates, like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah.
But then nobody else understands because they go, didn't you just get out of school? You should know this.
So, but on top of that, we showed up to the floor and they were like, well, you're not going to be calculating any of these things. You're not going to be sitting there and trying to do math. That's engineering work. Yeah. That's for an engineer to do. And it's like, what am I doing then? What was that for? I don't get it.
Why are you stressing me out this bad for?
Yeah. Why do I have so many more grays?
So fair. Six and I have had that conversation where we're like, in like, for me, A&P school, and for him it would be the schooling that the military sends him to. You'll spend an entire week learning about this subject, the in-depth, you're like let's say for a gearbox on the engine, right? You'll learn about the meshing and the tolerances from the dog gear to the sun gear and all this kind of stuff. And then after the whole week, and you have to take a test on it, and then the instructor goes, but that's depot level stuff. You'll never have to touch it.
Yeah, you'll never do that.
Don't worry about it. And then you get to the floor and you learn that you'd never do that. And you're like, why did I even? Well, it's just good knowledge to have. I feel, but then you didn't teach me about using a multimeter or something. You know what I mean? You're like, that's something I should have learned.
I feel like that brain space could have been committed to something that I actually do, you know?
Yeah. And they're like, oh, by the way, you're going to have to learn this. And we don't do that. We just remove and replace it. You're like, why?
Exactly. It's somebody else's job to figure it out. Jesus.
Right. Yeah, that's the back shop's job. We send that to the back shop and you're like, well, what's the point then? All I needed to know was how to disconnect the Canon plug and remove 4 bolts.
Yep.
Okay. It's like,
Yeah.
and then you
You
start
fill
asking
out a
like,
parts tag.
and then you start asking like, so am I going to be going to the back shop as part of my training or something like that? Oh no, it was just good for you to know. Like, WTF, WTF, why?
Thank you for showing up. That
Thank
will
you
be
for
all.
getting an A on the test. Yeah, you're good.
So then it's
That's
like
all
you're
it was
just
for.
taking things to take it, you know, and then you start wondering like, well, why did I take it? Why was I made to take it? And then you start and then you start wondering about the curriculum itself. Like, is this really just to teach me how to be a functioning, knowledgeable technician, or this is mostly just for you to like give you hours so you can get money?
Yeah,
know?
probably that second part.
Yeah.
You know, they're all about that money, and they're all about retirement. You know, like I'm right there. I'm just waiting. That's all it is.
And then you also get this feeling like they're just teaching you. They're like data dumping all kinds of stuff for you to absorb, like trying to put the ocean in a bucket. So when something happens, they can say like, well, he or she's been trained, so I don't see how they possibly could have fucked that up. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were saying?
It's CYA for the business, right?
Of
yeah,
course.
definitely.
That's what the
And so-
PowerPoints are too.
Right. And so if something goes wrong, you can say, well, they were trained. And I don't know why.
They
why,
signed
why
right
they messed
here.
that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
It's all
agreed.
CYA.
They agreed.
Yep. It's not to protect you or to make sure that you're fully versed on the subject. It's to ensure that they can't have negative repercussions for their terrible training curriculum.
right. Well, that goes
Yeah.
into like what I was saying about the $5 bill or the free lunch, right? If you actually read it, you would know you would get something good at the end, but then you just click through it because you got umpteenth many PowerPoints and computer-based courses you got to go through. And at the end of it, you pretty much missed it all because it's just so long and dry and boring and whatever.
Well, right.
have you.
It's not like they give you time to even do those courses. Hey, you have to ensure all these are done today, but also you have your full jobs to still do. We're not setting it aside today for you to focus on those training.
Yeah.
You're going to do your job and then you're going to also do your training. Also, you're not working overtime.
Yeah.
That's not permitted. Also, you're like, well, when am I supposed to do this?
Yeah, and also each one of these PowerPoints is supposed to take an hour each,
right.
But
Yeah.
you know,
and
get it done.
my shift's 9 hours, but I have 14 of these PowerPoints.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, you have to work on this plan, and this needs to be done, and you only have like 20 minutes to finish all this.
Make sure you charge to the correct charge numbers.
Oh yeah, make sure you're on the correct work order because reasons.
Because reasons, yeah, exactly. It's
Son
like,
of a bitch.
don't do that.
I can't work 72 hours in a 24-hour period. That just doesn't happen.
It's impossible and implausible.
I always get paranoid because it's like,
This is not Back to the Future,
no.
man.
it's
So I
paranoid.
gotta ask you guys this since you're fresh out of training. You ever had any nightmares of missing a test or missing some assignment that you guys had to have done?
No, I can tell you honestly that I have dreamt very often about school. And it's really creepy, and I don't like it. And I'll wake up and I'll be like, "What the fuck?"
Or I'll be like
Where am
sleeping,
I?
and I'm like, why is there command lines in my dream? Like,
Yeah,
what is going on?
it's like, where did this come from? Why is my brain doing this to me? Yeah,
And then you wake up and you're like, dang it.
Those are the worst days following a night of dreams like that, because you wake up and you're pissed off already right out the gate. You're like, I don't want to go to work today. I just dreamt about work all night. I hate this. Everything sucks.
yeah,
I just worked a full shift in my sleep. What the fuck?
yeah.
Yeah, and then you're like, I gotta wake up and I gotta do another shift. Why?
I just got here. I just left here and I just got here. I don't get it.
So Cookies and Cream, you guys, do you still have more classroom training, or is it all OJT now?
I have 2 classes left. Well, 1.5. I'm almost done with the second one. Or the first one.
Okay.
I got one more after that one.
Yeah, so we're staggered. So I just finished the classes that she's taking. And now from now on, it's OJT for another year. Yeah, wonderful. Another year of OJT.
That's all right, though. Just look at it this way. You can't be held responsible for a whole other year. Huh?
Okay, no, let's look at it this way, because that's not how it worked. And I specifically remember this conversation because it was at the end of our college class, and it was like the last day or so. And they were like, okay, so this is how it's going to work. You know, we just went through this really big work shift, I think is what they said. It was a shift in work, and you're going to get back, and it's not going to be so hard to get signatures. You're going to get all your stuff done. You're probably going to get your training done really fast. And then all you're going to have to do is be making up hours. So we're going to try to push you through this program so that you're signed off and ready to go. And all you're going to do is work and do OJT. You don't have to worry about any more like sign-offs. You're going to be like full-fledged without the title. So
that's when it really sounds like, hey, we're just getting you through this so we can get the money, but not have to invest a lot of other money in you. At least from my perspective, that's what it sounded like, the way you explained it.
Yeah, but it's also because, we are missing a lot of people. There's not a lot of people on the floor now.
Well, that's also true.
So there's not as many chances for training, and plus we're filling spots. We're doing things that we've already been signed off to do because we can do them by ourselves. We don't need somebody babysitting us, and that's kind of where we're headed to. Like, no more babysitting, no more hand holding. And
that's positive in its own right. Then at least you're trusted enough to do those jobs without being babysat.
It just fills me with anxiety, but no big deal,
But as Six and I can attest to, we've both gone through those same anxiety feelings. Like the one day they say, "Hey, you're going to go out and you're going to." For me, one of the biggest things was, "Hey, you're going to go run this engine." Yeah. At least on the corporate side of things, you're going to go run this engine, taxi it out, and do these high-powered engine runs by yourself. By myself?
What do you mean by myself?
That's
scary.
And then you also have to talk. You also have to, and you're taxiing around in an active airport, and you're talking with Tower, and Tower doesn't have time to be wasting breath on you because they got aircraft coming and going, and you're just maintenance out there, right? So it's just really nerve wracking.
Yeah,
my anxiety is going up just thinking about it.
Yeah.
But they just give you the stuff. They're just like, here you go. It's either sink or swim, and you got to decide. Like, I got to do this. I got to swim.
Yep. And then on top of it, it's like, don't break anything. Okay.
So with the OJT side of things, what has been the positives and the shortcomings on that? And I have a follow-up with the shortcomings because I'm going to identify one right away, and that's documentation or proper documentation or filling out parts tags correctly or lost tool reports.
Don't go there.
or pass downs or whatever else, So
let's start with the positives. Cream, let's start with you.
Let's go with Cream first this time.
All right. The positives of... I think I learned a lot better, being more hands-on. So I like that OJT part of it. For me, I had to, once I got inside the aircraft, things made sense. I'm not one to read a book and then be like, all right, that's how it's done. Like, I have to do it to understand it. So that was definitely the best part of the OJT. Having somebody there to actually show you the tricks, the ins and outs and stuff like that. That was a good experience. That we learned a lot from the techs on the floor.
That's good. They can kind of explain this is, hey, we have to do this, but it seems dumb, but here's why.
Yeah, definitely. Or here's how to do it. Because there's some things in there that I was like, you have to take this out. And I'm like, well, how do I take this out? It's way in there. I can't reach it.
It's buried under 3 separate trays of boxes. How do I get there?
Yeah, and then you got to get inside of all these wires, and your hand might not be able to fit in there. And I'm just like, how do I do this? So I think definitely having that somebody show me how to do those really tough things. I definitely like that part of the OJT, learning from people with years of experience. Definitely wouldn't. I would have been pretty lost on certain parts of the maintenance if it wasn't for that.
Okay,
sweet. Vicky's, you're up.
Okay. So yeah, I totally agree with her. Working hands-on gets you a different perspective. You actually know what you're looking at. I've actually remember thinking of a acronym, and this acronym kept getting told to me, and I kept hearing it everywhere. And I was like, what the hell is that? And then I look in the aircraft, and there it is. And the acronym that I thought it wasn't even the right acronym. It was completely different letters. And I'm over here thinking it's something else. I'm like, what the heck? And I was like, that's all it was? And that's all I needed to know? Okay, well, that's great. Now I look like an idiot here, but it's cool. And yeah, everything worked well. I worked with a lot of really cool people, and I'm really sad that a lot of them are gone because so many of them helped me and had different pieces of knowledge and you're kind of just putting this puzzle together, and it's really cool to see it all come together. And then when you're stuck by yourself trying to put this puzzle together, you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. You're like grabbing this piece and you're like, it doesn't fit. This one doesn't fit. Okay, I found the right piece.
Yeah, exactly. Go back and forth until I figured it out. Don't look at me. Yeah. You know, I know what I'm doing. Don't worry. I got this.
I got this.
But that's how you learn, though, right? So by doing those things, the next time you know, and then you'll be able to impart that knowledge on the next trainee.
True.
And it'll just be that much more of a streamlined and better process.
Pay it forward. Yep. So Cookies, I'm gonna tell you an acronym that I was taught when I first was certified to safe a plane. Like, this aircraft is safe to fly. You will not die. Nothing will break. So the acronym I was told, this was actually from a very close buddy of mine. And all things considered, we have to learn a whole plethora of acronyms and procedures and stuff like that. And so my buddy broke it down to like a song, not like a song, but kind of like a phrase,
like a rhyme.
And he said, yeah, like a rhyme. So
a Dr. Seuss, if you will.
Yes. Oh, you're gonna laugh when I tell you. Yes. So if you follow this acronym or phrase, you will never fuck up an inspection. I was like, all right, hit me. So when you go do an inspection, just think crew chiefs suck fat dicks. I'm like, okay. What does this mean? What does this mean? So it says crew chiefs suck fat dicks. CCSFD. Okay. What does that mean? Okay. When you inspect, you're looking for cracks, corrosion, security, fraud, and damage. Like, okay, that makes sense. So now to this very day, this was, mind you, like 15, 16 years ago. And I still remember crew chiefs suck fat dicks. Hell yeah. Let's do it.
Just don't say it out loud, right? Don't say it out loud, because then you're going to get weird ass looks.
Say it loud as shit. Like, it's like, hey, come on, man. Like, you're doing your you're just imagine that, taking a trainee out. Like, all right, bro, just remember crew chiefs suck fat dicks. I'm like,
oh no!
That's something you'll never forget.
See, that's a good instructor, because he knows how to relay the information to somebody to where they'll never forget it.
Yeah, scarred for life.
True, yeah, scarred for life for sure.
Yeah.
Don't let your crew chief hear you either. By the way,
like crew, they're like crew.
See, now it's gonna be stuck in your heads. There you go. I've imparted some knowledge.
You guys are gonna go to work tomorrow and be like, all right, we got to do this inspection. Just remember, everyone, at the morning meeting. Remember, everyone, crew chief suck fat dicks. All right,
hell
1, 2, 3, go, and you all walk out. So you're like, what the hell?
Cookies in my office right now.
You're gonna need some grades, right?
Yes, saving grades. Please help me, Lord.
Please do that, because I want to get a text from you all tomorrow. Be like, yo, I did it.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I got $5 and a free lunch for it. You don't even have to read the PowerPoint. Just
that is true. That is true. I will take you both to Sassy Bird and pay for all of it. Whatever you want.
I'm good. I don't need Sassy Bird that bad.
I'll buy you whatever foods you want.
I'll buy my own food. Pick us up at the HR office. I'm like, hey, can you pick me up at the HR office?
Okay.
Oh, that's so true. I'm gonna need you to give me a really good referral to where you work.
That's fine. I'd be happy to do either of them. I'll come pick you up and give you the referral. Oh my God, please do.
But I need you to guarantee that spot too. You can't just be like, oh, I tried, sorry.
Hey, I can make it happen.
Imagine how interviews go. So what happened at your old company? Well, I said,
I learned an acronym for inspections and they fired me.
I should have never listened to him. I knew he was full of shit. I knew it.
I did, but now see, you're tying the emotion to the inspection. Like, what does that mean? Okay, C means to check for cracks, corrosion, security. Yeah, I got it. Got it for life. It will never go away. Got it for life.
Actually, you know what you can do? You can put that down on your brag sheet for the year when it comes for review time. Like, hey, and you can create these create these little laminated cards and hand them out to all the people in the shop. And then at the end of the year, you can be like, yo, I created a training / a new inspection form
checklist.
for all the new hires a checklist so they can't forget how to do this inspection. Yeah.
Paying it forward. You see that?
And you can say, I'm improving the department. Huh?
So
Yeah.
Ooh, fancy.
that would be great and all, but I just sent a message so that you could see who my actual direct supervisor is, and you could see what that would look like. If I'll put it here so that you could have an idea of how wrong that would be and how much trouble I would be in if I did.
Why well, didn't say it to your supervisor?
No, but he's the one who does. He's the one that does my, my yearly review.
Not Ghostface. Oh no!
No.
I should burn it all.
Just so you have an idea of what I have to go through.
Yeah. You know what? I'm sorry.
well, just don't say fat dick. Say something else.
Like what?
I don't know.
Crew chief suck fat donuts. Hey,
Fruity donuts.
Crew chief suck fat donuts. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. I guess that could work.
It's not going away, is it? It's in all your heads forever.
That's good.
It's just terrible now. It's just
fantastic times.
That's awesome.
a nice little sear. You got one of those little branding irons and you just seared it right there.
Yeah, like a nice steak on the cast iron. You gotta burn it real quick and then flip it. It's there for life. It's enjoyable both in and out.
All right. So what were some of the bad parts of training? I know we had mentioned some reporting, documentation, how to properly document, or to do missing item reports. Ooh, I know you have experience in those.
Yeah. More than what we wanted, but yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, nobody wanted to be part of that.
Jeez, I remember calling you before and being like, hey, so they said this is missing, but I know it's not missing. You know what I'm saying? It's not missing, right? Because you guys found it, right? I know you have it. Stop playing with my emotions.
Stop messing around. Well, you guys play too much.
Yeah, you play too much. I ain't here for it. Not today. And it'd be Friday at
the end of shift.
Yeah, Friday at 10 o'clock at night. Excuse me, you have what?
I know both of you have called me, and I just pick up the phone like, please tell me nothing's missing. Please tell me you're just telling me to have a good weekend.
There's only 2 reasons.
So have a good weekend, and also
I need your help.
We're missing a screwdriver.
No.
I wasn't ready.
There's only 2 reasons why you're calling me, and it's after lunch already. So no, I'm gonna hang up the phone.
We felt that same thing too. And they'd be like, "Hey, it's the end of the night, so can I check out the boroscope?" Like, no.
No, don't. No.
Please, no. Wait. Before you do, let me clock out real quick. So it's your fault.
For real. I remember staying like till 1 a.m. one night because somebody dropped. Okay, it was a Rubbermaid cart, and the wheel flew off of this cart. So the nut, the bolt, the washer, like all of it was gone. And I think he found 2 of the 3 pieces or something. And we were like searching all night. And I was like, oh my God, like, why did you do this? Like, it was a damn cart. Like, how do you lose this? It was
you
the
found
worst
everything
night
but
ever.
the wheel is what you're saying. We found the washer, we found the nut, but we didn't find the wheel. Like, how did you lose the wheel?
Yeah,
the wheel, that was the biggest piece.
part. Yeah, I don't know how you did this. What is going on?
That reminds me when you guys shout out a notification say, "Hey, we lost this tool." I'm like, and then I replied, "How did you lose the hook?"
Yeah, I remember that.
It's a 50-pound.
Oh, it was for the gantry, right?
Yeah.
It was for the gantry. It's like,
how do you lose the hook?
That hook weighs over 100 pounds. I don't understand how it's missing.
It was with the shackle, right? Was it the shackle?
It was something like that,
something,
yeah.
right? Like, like all things, life will find a way,
Yeah. I remember getting those emails for sure. That always make me laugh. Yeah, the downfalls would probably be timing and the bad
timing. So timing being the current situation of that place. You mean like being in your OJT at this exact moment in time? I mean, this moment in your life. What are you referencing there?
Well, I guess there's a couple different things because we've had different portions of OJT, and you kind of just get tasked out and you do whatever needs to be done for the priority of the day or however it works.
Oh, I understand. I see
And
what you mean now.
then at the end of the day, it's like, oh, you didn't get any signatures, you didn't get any of your training done, or I did, this very intricate software load over here in OJT, but that wasn't part of my OJT then, but it's part of my OJT now, but I couldn't get that signature for now because I did it then, and it's just a weird timing.
Oh my god!
Wow, that's
Yeah.
that's got to be uber frustrating.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, or like when the whole situation happened where we are currently at right now. I think we got kind of that too, where it was like, hey, though, so this has happened, and you guys need to finish your book, but you guys are by yourself, so you guys need to do all this, and no one gets to see what you did, so no one can sign your book. But you still got to finish your book, and we're like, what do you mean?
Well, then how the hell am I supposed to sign it off, friend?
Yeah, how am I supposed to finish it? If I
Pencil it for myself or what?
And that's what they said. They were like, "Oh, well, you got to figure it out." I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
Yeah, thanks for all your help
every day.
Now, is it only certain individuals who are cleared to sign your book, or can it be just any tech? Does it have to be a supervisor? Does it have to be actual personnel from the training shop? How does that?
It just has to be a tech qualified technician.
Yeah, or as
Okay.
we like to call them, cuties.
Yeah.
Cuties.
Yeah. So you're giving me shit for the crew chief thing, and you're calling people cute.
But yeah, you got your own. You got your own.
Well, that's legit what they're called. I didn't make it up. That's just their name.
That's the first time I've ever heard
Never
that.
heard cuties. I think
Cuties.
you're
Never
making
heard
this up.
cuties.
I think you're
Qualified
making this up.
technicians.
And I was around a long time.
I guess it's new to us.
Yeah, you were.
But
Yeah.
well,
Very interesting.
either way, it sounds like HR would get involved. I'm not allowed to say it at work, so I figured I'd say it here anyway.
Oh, okay. All right. Fun times. MVP, you were saying something else?
Oh, I was going. We were talking about who can sign off the book. So you obviously can't sign off each other's books. Have you guys approached your existing management or training department about with the current state of your current employment? Have you guys approached them about finding more time or allocating time during the day to ensure that some of those items that are on your OJT book are met? Or is your management they know you need certain tasks, or are they allocating you to those specific tasks with another qualified technician so you guys can get those? Or are they just giving you the ones you're already signed off on? I'm air quoting, they're signed off on because you can do those without being watched, and they give the guys who have done the software load 1,000 times that job, but you need the software. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like the Wild West right now over there. So it's kind of like,
So what you guys are experiencing right now happened
Everywhere.
It happens everywhere, but it happened 14 years ago was my first experience with it. So it's frustrating. I understand what you're going through, but if my suggestion would be approach your existing management training and say, hey, look, I don't have enough time in the day to ensure that these things are getting done, or I'm not being assigned to a specific task so I can get these OJTs signed off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they actually.
And approach it.
Sorry.
I was going to say, and approach it from the faster I get this done, the more useful I become to you, i.e. the lead, the manager, the supervisor, whoever you want to call.
Well, they've actually because they cut down training real good. There's only very few left, and they're kind of tossed out to the floor to float and help us. So I've had a couple people walk up to me and say, "Oh, how are you doing? What are you working on today?" So I think I was washing the plane one day. It was really funny, and this guy comes up, and he's supposed to be the manager of the training department, and he's a really cool guy, really super smart dude. And he's like, "Oh, what are you up to today?" And I was like, "Well, I have to prep this aircraft for inspection, and then I'm just kind of washing the plane because that's what they told me to do." And he's like, "Oh, well, you don't need my help washing the plane, so I'm gonna head out." It's like, "Oh, thanks. It's no big deal. I'm not gonna do anything else."
See, that's the kind of stuff though that gets really frustrating, and I'm sure you guys get super frustrated with it, is because he has the ability to say, "No, anybody can do this. It's a task that doesn't require any brain power. Like anybody can do this. We don't need you. What I need you to do is this." And so in his position, he should go, no, and go talk to the supervisor, whoever, and say, no, I need them tasked on these items so they can get their OJT book signed off. Right. But they don't do that. They say, "Cool, I'm going to head out. Have a good weekend." You're like,
yeah.
Wait, I need to learn how to solder. Wait. Definitely some shortcomings, and you guys are a testament to that as far as what can and cannot be done, especially because you're the more fresh of the training environment. Like MVP and I, it was like 15, 16, 17 years ago, whereas you guys is probably 2 months ago or still ongoing. Mm-hmm. Closing thoughts, MVP?
Ladies, thanks for coming on. It's been a pleasure. It's been great talking with you guys again. Please don't be strangers. We'd love to have you on again sometime. I've had a lot of laughs today, so I really appreciate that.
We've had a lot of fun too, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Bring back the old times.
Yeah, I know. I miss you guys. It's not the same.
No,
we had our own little
too.
podcast, but in person.
That's true. Well, now we can bring you on as returning guests and keep those conversations going on here.
Yeah, look at us, cookies and cream.
We'd love
We've already coined a good.
Yeah, you guys are established. Forever cookies and cream.
Of course.
So Cookies, do you have anything to share for the listeners out there? Anything, either training or anything wise for them?
I guess all I could say is if you want to better yourself, don't close any doors, because coming from Tool Crib and doing all that, like I had really great relationships with everybody on the floor, techs, supervisors, managers, and it helped me kind of move forward and move into a better career that I've actually really enjoy, and I do things that are really fun, and I never stop learning. And that's something that I've always really wanted, because some things get boring, but you kind of learn something new every day. It's never ending. So just don't stop pushing if that's what you need to do to better yourself, better your family, push others around you, because you're not going to be the only one in the world. It's going to be a team effort, or you got to push people. Just keep pushing.
Gotcha. Cream, your turn. Anything to share?
Yeah, I would say it's like kind of like how I got into this position. Like the person that actually helped me sign up for everything is I said, if you want to get into aviation, the hardest part is just getting started. So once you get started and you get the ball rolling, it just keeps going. So yeah, I definitely say it's a great career. It's definitely interesting. Never a boring day. Always learning something new.
Yep. And as we all know, all of us here, attitude is everything. I mean, it can either, some days it really tests you. It really, tests you. But if you can maintain that positive outlook, you'll come out better on the other side. You just got to get through those dark times.
Definitely, and ladies, you said it, you hit the nail on the head. Like for those of you out there who are trying to get in or you're in it already, you got to take the initiative for yourself. You got to have the drive to want to improve, to want to learn. Because if you don't, people are not going to do it for you. You're responsible for you. And all they got to do is check in the box saying that they taught you some stuff. And then it's all you at that point. So you got to learn how to take care of you and then have that initiative to improve upon yourself. We like to thank our patrons for supporting us and helping us make this episode and bring these two lovely ladies as our guests. Stephanie Boatman, Erica Lamont, Mike Diltz, congrats on your newborn, by the way. Thomas Connolly, Laura Mans, Ryan Freshour. We thank you so much for all you guys' support, for helping us make this podcast, bring on these guests, and more to come soon, and helping Shoreline be happy about editing and providing the audio for our podcast. We have some stuff that are in the pipeline that we're working through. One of them is a giveaway in light of the holidays, for the coming holidays. One of them is going to be a giveaway from ATS, or Aircraft Tool Supply Company. who provides about 3,000 different products for aircraft maintenance and some other stuff from small businesses around the nation. Please like, subscribe, give us some reviews on our podcast. Check out our merch at cancelformaintenance.com. If you have some ideas for the show or you'd like to come on the show, shoot us a line there at cancelformaintenance.com, and we'll listen to your ideas. We'll try to incorporate your ideas and possibly bring you on the show like we do with these ladies. We'll do everything to get you on. Please support us on Patreon at patreon.com/cancelformaintenance. Your support, as I said, means a lot to us, and it helps us keep doing what we're doing. Also follow us on our social medias on Facebook and Instagram so you can learn more about us, stay up to date on the show, and then drop us some other ways they're giving us ideas.
All right, everybody, get after it. Cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream.
Once again, thank you. Not cookies and crime. Not cookies and crime. Cookies and cream. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.